Hey guys, today's video is sponsored by Olight. On the 24th of this month they have a massive sale on to coincide with the launch of several new products. In today's video, amongst the foxing, we'll be taking a look at two of these products. So sit back, watch and enjoy. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. First of all, my apologies for the gap in content. Work has been incredibly busy over the last few weeks since lockdown restrictions were lifted, and the day after my birthday I was served redundancy notice. So very soon I'm going to be jobless. Now I am planning something in the background, so please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, or at least stay tuned for now, because I have got something exciting in the pipeline. In today's video, I've been field testing Nate Vision's new pig saddle mount for a tripod system to see if it can enhance the use of tripod or trigger sticks. I also take a closer look at two offerings from Olight. These are brand new products launched on the 24th of this month, when they coincide with a sale that Olight are having as well. We'll be taking a look at the Warrior X Turbo and the O-Pen 2. And finally, we look at a bipod offering from the bipodfactory.com. But before all of that, I can hear combines, and that can only mean one thing. On a beautiful summer's evening, I head over to see Andy and Cazzy. As the combining is in full swing, it tends to push lots of foxes back out into territory they otherwise would not have been seen in, as this hare here runs for some cover.
Love you. See you later. The woman sorted out, we can finally enjoy ourselves.
So Andy, why is tonight a special night?
Well, we're only 5 short of the 1,000 foxes off this permission. So it'd be quite nice to get those 5 tonight and get us to that milestone of 1,000 foxes in 3 years.
3 years, 1,000 foxes.
Just off this permission.
That is some going. But how big is this permission?
I would say it's probably about 6,000 or 7,000 acres.
It's big. I mean, it is big. It extends way beyond that area. It is vast. In every direction. So as we are treated to a beautiful sunset here in the east of England, Andy and Caz are very keen to get going, sitting on 995 foxes since they took over this permission. The first fox that evening wasn't too far up the road, although unfortunately that one was a miss, as I recorded it using the Pulsar Accolade XP50 LRF thermal system. Fox number 2 again came along fairly quickly. It was just on the exit of this particular part of the farm. I ranged it at 187 yards as Cazzy quickly dispatches it with a 22-250. 996, just 4 more to go. We'll pop back over and see how the guys finish up a little later in the programme. Rick's got himself a new lamping truck, so that day we were very keen to get out and put it through its paces. Much like a lot of the UK at the moment, many wheat fields are in, and it's a great time to get on top of your fox population. You can see me here actually putting the GC500 caller on top of the truck and putting it on, and I put it on rabbit distress call simply because on areas of this farm there are quite a few rabbits kicking about, so it's something the foxes will naturally predate on. It really isn't very long at all before the first fox I clock using the thermal system, so I get ready on the night sight, turn it on, hit record and get ready for the action. So you'll see here that I've actually just turned the caller off and I've now started lip squeaking. Funnily enough, although the fox got into the field probably enticed by the call, it wasn't that interested once it arrived. So the lip squeak changed its attention and it started heading towards me. I stayed with it to absolutely make sure the fox wasn't getting up again. I was fairly convinced it was a good enough shot, but I do believe it probably went an inch or two slightly further back than I would have liked at that point. But yeah, there's a young and it come in well. I think the rabbit call caught his attention, and then the lip squeak was enough to bring it in well. Yeah, it is. A little vixen. Maybe an inch or two further back than it should have been, but still, yeah. Another young and out the way. So while we were out foxing, I'd actually taken the Warrior X Turbo out for a test, knowing that this field is really quite long, and actually the truck was the best part of 100 yards away. You can see here you've got a really tight beam, quite a light halo around the main beam, but the main beam itself incredibly tight, focused, and a nice round shape. It would be quite a good little unit this for putting on top of a rifle if you wanted to lamp things. The beam itself will travel up to 1,000 meters, which is quite some way. Almost foggy. So yeah, as you can see, not brilliant conditions for foxing or indeed torch testing. If you don't want to see the details about the Olight Warrior X Turbo, then skip to 10:56 minutes in this film where the foxing action will resume. First of all, we'll compare the Warrior X Turbo to the standard Warrior X. My first impression is I actually prefer the case on the standard Warrior X because it has a magnetic clip, not a push button. But as you can see, the torches side by side. The Warrior X Turbo is ever so slightly longer, and of course it has a broader head. That head is the reason you can achieve a 1,000-meter beam. I do prefer it, having said that, in this very fetching limited edition gunmetal grey colour. It's extremely pleasing to the eye, and of course, like all the other Olight torches, incredibly well finished. The tactile feel gives it a very comfortable grip, whether you're going for the overhand or underhand grip. The three raised notches which cover the on-off switch and the magnetic charging port should help prevent accidental turning on of the unit. The power plant is the 21700 battery, which is a 5000 milliamp power plant, and you can see on screen now the specifications in terms of run times. Don't forget all of the Olight products, torch wise anyway, are IPX8 rated, which means they are both drop proof and water resistant. You can see previous videos of mine where I've actually used them in the hot tub. The battery indicator itself, because it does go in the unconventional way, but it's listed on both the side and the battery itself, as well as the tail cap to remind you. Charging it is by far and away the easiest thing in the world. Magnetic tail caps are my favourite feature, as well as the durability of Olight products. The other brand new product that they have in the lineup for this flash sale is the O Pen. Of course, it's a pen and it's a torch. It's actually quite a bright little unit, this one as well. Let's take a closer look at the O Pen 2.
any rifle enthusiast is instantly going to take a liking to this product because of the rifle bolt style way you actually deploy the pen. I think that's really cool. The cartridges themselves are fully replaceable. You just need to remember to take the spring off, which is quite stiff, I've found as well. You simply unscrew the tail cap, which will reveal a USB-C, which is a new style of charging port, and the actual tip of the pen itself can be used as a little light also. Charging the unit up, like all products, really straightforward, and it gives you a red indication, and that light will simply turn off when it's ready. Don't forget, during this sale period as well, you can also get yourself a free gift, so please check out the website for this cool little rechargeable torch as well. The unit itself has 3 different power settings, and as you can see, size wise compared to a conventional pen, it's pretty much the same size. It is a little bit fatter, but I prefer that actually personally when I'm writing. Both of these products, launched on the 24th of this month in Olight's sale, are available individually or as a bundle, so go ahead and check out the link in the video's description. Right then, it's time to get back on with the foxing action. I'm out with a keeper this time as I spot a fox coming away from the cover with something in its mouth. Another example there of staying on target just in case you need to take another shot. We've got a few clips now from Kevin, who's also been out with his Tikka 223. He's using Winchester Varmint X 55 grain soft point ammo, filmed through his NV unit, the LL700, with a PBIRL laser. It's quite unusual to see the vocalisation and actually capture it on film at this time of year, so well done, Kevin. Back over to myself and Rick now, and this is me out on the first night out using the Nate Vision Pig saddle there for the tripod sticks. We'd not been out in this particular farm very long, once again with a fresh stubble field out here. I started lip squeaking, having spotted this fox a couple of 100 yards, and waited several minutes patiently for it to make its way towards me. Well, there was no mistaking that one. That one was straight in the engine room. That one's not going anywhere. Well, it wasn't the most testing of shots. I'm assuming it's a young one. It came in very well to the lip squeak. I'm guessing a vixen. Yes, vixen. Another one in the bib, stroke neck. That's the third one tonight. Good effort. Onwards and upwards. Very pleasing there, and I was quite impressed using that pig saddle for the first evening. Once again, the foxing action resumes at 18 minutes and 44 seconds into this video if you don't want a closer look at the Nate saddle itself. Constructed of high grade materials, these rods and high pressure springs help keep everything nice and taut. You've got a tripod mount here just off centre underneath, and the very easy to turn handle. I have it personally on the right hand side just so I can tighten up the grip on my rifle. Once again, the construction of this thing 3D printed but made from very firm plastic indeed. Actually, to mount the unit onto your trigger stitch, you can simply take off the V-yoke by winding it counterclockwise. This is on the Gen 2 incidentally, and you've actually got on the Gen 2 model a tripod mount already on top of the unit there. The Gen 3 trigger sticks are slightly different. You have to remove the yoke and the quick release mount all as one piece. So if you take the lock off, undo the quick release system, my sticks are brand spanking new, so it might be a little bit stiff yet. You've there got the two yoke pieces. As you can see there, one has the tripod mount, the green one, that's the Gen 2. The one on the left there is the Gen 3. So to enable you to be able to mount the pig saddle onto the Gen 3 sticks, you simply need the tripod adapter plate. That came with my sticks, and you can tighten it up there with a flathead screwdriver. To put them onto the Gen 2 sticks, it's just a simple case of depressing the outer tripod mount ring, which is actually fatter than required, and just simply then screwing it clockwise onto your sticks until you get it into a position that you're comfortable with. One of the major plus points with this pig saddle is if you tighten it up enough, it will actually hold your rifle steady for you, giving you both hands free to be able to scan around with a thermal device.
So the Night Vision saddle then for your tripod system, is it any good? What do I think to it? Well, first of all, I think price point is pretty reasonable. It's currently $59.99, I believe, on Night Vision's website. That price may vary, so make sure you check it out first. But clearly it's 3D printed, but the quality of the materials very good. You've got an incredibly tough, pretty thick plastic casing. That's got to be, I would suggest, probably 10mm thick. Yeah. So it's not going to break, I wouldn't have thought, if you dropped it out of the truck or whatever. The padding on the inside is perfect, and it's contoured as well, so it will offer a little grip potentially when it's slippery. The hand nut itself is pretty easy to turn. I always wear a glove on my left hand because typically if I'm out with the boys, then that hand is hanging out the window or resting the gun on it, so it tends to get quite cold. So I always have a glove on this hand, and I've used this now a couple of times with the glove on, and it offers a suitable amount of grip. One of the main reasons I wanted to get this and give it a go is because I believe that because you've got, I'm going to handle this better, because you've essentially got a flat platform for your gun to rest on, it's got to be better surely than just having a little V to help combat any rocking motion. So when your gun is resting on the sticks, although in itself that's a relatively stable platform, you still get a little bit of back and forth rocking motion. If that was to be broader, as it is in this case, because you've got a bigger surface area on here, it helps to eliminate back and forth motion. You know, I've shot stuff at 100 yards off of sticks, no problem, you know, it wasn't moving about at all. I have heard some people say that the Primos trigger sticks are nowhere near as good as some of the other sticks out there, the Recons and so on and so forth. And look, that may well be the case, but at the price point, they are significantly less. So I think it's going to appeal to a slightly wider audience, and budgets as well. And I'm pretty impressed with it. Yeah, I think it's a good addition. My foxing rifle is not a light rifle, certainly not with a silencer on, the night sight, the additional IR torch. In fact, I'll put on screen now exactly how much that weighs, but it is not a light rifle. And this, once it's done up tight, will hold it firm. If you just loosen it off a little bit, it'll give you that ability to be able to kind of, rock up and down and stuff. But I think for the money, well worth it.
Back over to myself and Rick now, and we've stumbled across a family of fox cubs next door but one to the field where Rick has one of his main pheasant drives. So unfortunately for these guys, these are a little too close for comfort and need to be taken care of. The first fox here is actually making its way all the way up the bank towards myself and Rick. I've not needed to use any calls here. This is just one of those times where it's a case of being in the right place at the right time. However, patience was definitely needed here because it took quite some time for the foxes to get within range, and as you can see they were quite fidgety. Although once the first one had eventually got into range, it disappeared into the bank and was a good several minutes before it made its way back out again. As the first one went down, we had to wait around 10 minutes before the other two foxes made an appearance. As you can see here, they've got two heat sources, and you can also see the one in the foreground there that fell on the first shot. Once again, a little lip squeaking here required to catch the fox's attention, and they both come bounding up. But again, just like the first one, and cubs being cubs, they're quite inquisitive and they stop and look at just about everything on the way. You can just see the eye shine there of the first fox cub as the other one goes and pretty much stands and looks at it. The other one jumps on his back just as I take the shot here. And no, that one's not stopping for toffee. We did see it and it did make an appearance a little later, but unfortunately we had to move on. We have been back since and mopped all of those up. Back over to Cazzy now, and he just decks fox number 997, and within that minute fox 998 on this permission comes out and he dispatches that one at a couple of 100 yards. A great shot. But as he takes that one down, you can see another fox right in the distance at the back there, along with another one in that field.
That one you just shot, I reckon that's that one that you saw steaming into the hedge at the back.
Yes, 2-8, wow, I've got 2-8-2 now. We were there for quite some time before one of the other two foxes did wander in, and we got that one as well. So this fox here is the elusive 1000th fox for Andy and Caz off that permission.
1,000 foxes.
Bipods then. Well, do you really need one? Well, look, I look at it like this. Setting up a rifle, particularly at night on the back of my truck, as I often do, I would say a bipod is near on essential. It's incredibly hard, especially to add on rear night vision add-on units or even torches like here in the film you see playing over here. This is me testing the Olight Javelot Pro some time ago. It's almost impossible to get all of that stuff done on your rifle without a sturdy bipod. This particular one here is from the bipodfactory.com. They sent it to me to try out, and do you know what? It's very much like all the other bipods I've got on my rifles. I don't go for anything particularly fancy or particularly expensive, and the reason for that is, personally, I use it for one of two things. The first of which, and to me probably the most important one, is just setting the rifle up. As you saw in the video clip a short time ago, putting torches and night vision kit onto your rifle is so much easier to do when the rifle is in a static location or stance for you, to be able to put all the extra bits and bobs on, torches, night vision kits, and just generally have a good play around. It's also quite handy for cleaning as well. It keeps the rifle upright, off the floor, out of moisture and out of dirt. Scenario 2 for me using the bipod, other than setting it up, is actually occasionally I'll go across the bonnet. So 9 times out of 10 now we're lamping, I'm out of the truck window, you know, we'll see the foxes on the farm and I'll probably just shoot them from the window. Other times I'll get out of the car and use the sticks to stalk into them if they're on land, which is awkward to get to by car. But also, if the fox is on the driver's side, I'll often get out quick sharpish, go across the bonnet, get on the bipod and take the shot that way. What I will need to do often though is extend one leg by one click. Yeah, so because the bonnet is shaped sloping down to my left effectively, I need that leg to be a little bit longer just so that it keeps it nice and stable. This particular bipod, like others I go for, has got a bit of tilt, and I think, and it's quite stiff as well, but that does mean that it holds it steady once you've got it once you've got your rifle in the vertical position. It's very important that you keep your crosshairs as vertical as possible so the shot isn't teetering off to the left or the right. And because of that, I need a bipod to do one of 3 things. The first of which, as I mentioned, is extendable legs. These ones are spring loaded, so you can push a button on either side here and the legs will pop out, and then they're adjustable in increments going back. So you've got 4 or 5, up to its shortest there. I think these extend from 6 to roughly 9 inches. You've got an extra 3, maybe 4 inches of travel there. It's pretty firm, yeah, it's not really going anywhere. The legs, when not in use, simply fold up like so, yeah, so that the rifle has a much lower profile, and it will also sit inside your rifle bag. Feature number 2 that's quite important is the ability to tilt or cant the rifle. That enables you to be able to, as I said, if you're taking a shot on uneven ground, keep the crosshairs nice and still. The other important thing with this is you don't want it too loose either, because you don't want to be holding the rifle and it automatically be tilting one way or the other. This thing here is, you can actually tighten this up just by adjusting this underneath. You can actually make it a little looser. I personally like to keep it nice and stiff. I think it's much safer that way, and I don't want the rifle tilting as I'm adding extra things to it. And feature number 3 is a solid anchor for you to be able to attach your rifle sling. The bipod itself is incredibly easy to install, providing your rifle is already fitted with swivel studs. This Boyd stock for my Tikka T3 here in 223 came with 2 swivel studs already bolted at the front, so if I want to, I can have this a little bit further back. I don't have that often because I'm shooting from the truck window or off of sticks, so I prefer to have mine at the furthest swivel stud away from me. That way, when the legs are not in use and they're up, it keeps everything out of my way. Once again, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. Coming up, I'm taking the 22 LR out on rabbit patrol, plus I've got some squirrel action coming up for you also. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and as always, happy shooting. I'll catch you in the next one.